In October 2008, the State Board of Education selected Deborah S. Delisle as Ohio's 35th Superintendent of Public Instruction. Prior to serving as State Superintendent, Dr. Delisle was Superintendent of the Cleveland Heights University Heights School District. She brings more than 35 years of experience to the position of State Superintendent, including the roles as District Superintendent, Principal, Curriculum Director, Classroom Teacher, and also College Instructor. She's done it all. She's been in the trenches and she's been other places. We'll leave it at that. As Superintendent of Public Instruction, Deborah has made it a priority to work collaboratively with the stakeholders, improving communications between the Ohio Department of Ed and the field, ensuring that ODE provides valuable services and resources to districts and schools. Her background blends well with real-world educational experience, with strong leadership and management skills. Innovation and 21st century creativity mark her career. She's recently been named as eSchool News 2010 Tech Savvy Superintendent. She remains committed to diminishing the digital divide among students through cutting-edge technology and promoting the use of technology in classrooms. Dr. Delisle completed her doctoral studies at Kent State University following a receipt of a master's degree in special education from Kent and a bachelor's degree from Springfield College in Massachusetts. In addition to working in primary and secondary education, she has taught graduate classes at Kent State, Ursuline College, and Northern Colorado University. It's my distinct honor to present to you our State Superintendent, Dr. Deborah Delisle.
Thanks so much for that introduction. It's very kind. It's always sort of unnerving for me for people to read something out and share something about my background. I'm never quite sure what they're going to say, but I have to admit I've never heard anybody say I've been other places besides wherever I was. I don't know. I think sometimes I'm in the tar pits, but anyway. So thank you so much for that. I do feel that when my background is given, it's usually like somebody will say, can the woman keep a job? But actually, I've been in the business for 35 years across 2 different states, having come to Ohio from Connecticut. So it really has been a pleasure for me to have been a citizen of Ohio and sort of an adopted Buckeye person for the last 26 years. And it's great to see such excitement in the room, particularly because I know you've been here to engage in conversations about what I think is probably one of the most important conversations that we could be having today in education, and that is talking about the incorporation of 21st century learning skills in all of Ohio's schools. It's been one of my goals as the state superintendent to not have a child's zip code predetermine the quality of his or her education. And I think one of the ways that we could do that is to ensure that we are having high-quality teachers and high-quality, rigorous learning environments in every single classroom and ensure that Ohio has consistency across all of the state in terms of the programs that we design. I want to acknowledge a couple of people before I get into my formal remarks. I want us to congratulate, and I don't know if she's in the room, Amanda Fountain, who's a media arts teacher from Upper Arlington High School. Is she here? Is she hiding under a table? No? Okay. She has 8 students, some of whom I think are in the back of the room, who are documenting this very important work. So I want to congratulate them and congratulate her. Let's give them a round of applause. And what's so vital is that that's really providing, you talk about 21st century learning skills in action, it's providing a real live audience for their real work. And I would say to any one of those students, you actually can get a job in communications in the media, having sent a son through college and finally at the age of 28, well he's 32 now, but I think at the age of 28 he finally became financially independent in the film world, so that was a really good thing for us. I also want to acknowledge State Board of Education members who are present. I believe they're over here, Steve Millette, Danny Green, and Dennis Reardon. Do you want to wave to people? They do really important work all the time in terms of crafting out a set of policies in addition to painting a vision of what could be in the state of Ohio. And I would be remiss, I know I have two colleagues with whom I work closely from Cleveland Heights, University Heights. So Joe Mischler's in the back and Kelly Cogan's over here. So we have a curriculum specialist extraordinaire and principal extraordinaire over here. And when I was introduced as the former superintendent of the Cleveland Heights, University Heights School District, I think back of the work that we did together as a team. And really what I want to emphasize, and the lesson I learned best from them, is that it takes an extraordinary team of people in a school district to do the work. It's not about any one person in any one role. And we had moved the district in just a couple of years from Academic Watch to one of excellent in just a couple of years. But it wasn't just my work, it was the work of us together. So I want to thank you because I still carry you around on my shoulders in Columbus and you're still in my heart, so thank you so much. I also want to thank Ashland University, the Mid-Ohio Educational Service Center, the School Study Council of Ohio, and the Upper Arlington School District for partnering with us to host this summit, which is really critical. I had a dinner meeting with them last evening with some representatives from those groups, and they were talking about the extraordinary turnout. At this time of year, just an extraordinary turnout. It was a sellout crowd, so I told them that they had to start calling this the first annual Summit for International Education. So hopefully 21st Century Learning will move it beyond the first annual. And I really want to thank Ken Kay so much, president of the Partnership for 21st Century Skills. Thank you so much, Ken. Your presence means a lot for you to be here. We continue to be energized by your vision and passion for our students' future, Ken. And Ken and I had an opportunity to meet several years ago, and I've followed his work all along, and so I always hear your voice in the back of my head making me ask the right questions about our educational system, so thank you so much. We were really pleased this year that Ohio was selected to be a leadership state in the Partnership for 21st Century Skills. It seemed appropriate for us to apply for that and to be accepted, and we had to write a plan around that. And we're just at the very beginning stages of that work, but it means a lot to me as the state superintendent for us to be really focused on how do we prepare all of our students for a future that has yet to be defined. And that's probably one of the most difficult elements of being an educator. Even 35 years ago when I entered my first classroom as a teacher, and I feel like it was like at a time when the earth was still cooling, but I entered the schoolroom, and it's so different today, but I was faced with 40 second graders with 5 different language arts texts, and there wasn't really any direction in the state or in the district. It was just sort of like get your kids to learn. And I think back to that time, and I loved those kids, and we had great happy times, but I almost want to send them sympathy cards. They had a great time. I'm not sure if they learned anything. And so now when I think about education and I think about how different our classrooms are and the great responsibilities we have for teachers, I think back to that first class and wonder, did I really prepare them for this complex global society in which they are working? It's just really a question that dogs me all the time, and it's a question that ought to dog all of us all of the time. What are we doing every single day to ensure that our students are well prepared for their future, not for our present? That's the critical question we have to ask ourselves every single day. When I first came to my job in Columbus back in December of 2008, if you think back to that time, it was really where it was solidified that Ohio was just like every other state across the country, really mired in an economic downturn. And we're still there. We're trying hard to spiral out of it, but not having great success. So that just added to the intensity of our work, our challenges that we're facing around this economic issue. But it should never stop our work. Because no matter what, we can't lose a generation of kids while we're waiting for the Red Cape Crusader to come in and save us, or for an economy to turn around suddenly on its heels and to recover. Another generation of kids can't wait for that. So we've got to be really intense in our focus on that burning question of how do we prepare our students for their future, not for our